Hello, and welcome to Glove Supplier Due Diligence Series, Provenance and Patterns of Fraud, Part 1. My name is David Lawrence. This is the second series I'm doing. The first series I did, you can see there'll be a pop-up, and that was on using the FDA to do due diligence, FDA website to do due diligence on medical gloves. This series will be about some examples I've encountered here on the ground of fraud and how to reduce your risk and identify the patterns of fraud so that you don't get sucked in. This will be a real-life example, but I will not reveal the identity of any of the parties because that's not why I'm here. Okay, we're going to call this one Hide the Ball. But first I want to talk about the pressure cooker, at least what I call the pressure cooker. Okay, here we had a Canadian buyer who, through a very trusted contact locally in Canada, learned that someone in that person's organization could access gloves, medical gloves regulated by Health Canada. Easy to, again, check on that to see if you can import or supply them. And on the basis of the promise of his close contact in Canada, he promised his customers delivery of a product based upon a schedule. Okay, so this situation, promising customers before you conduct your due diligence, puts you in a very bad position because now you have to make a deal happen, but you don't know quite how it's going to happen. Okay, so through the course of this deal, he was introduced to some Malaysian middlemen and also some who said that they had procured a Thai supplier to deliver the product. So in this case, the Canadian buyer relied upon the Malaysian middlemen. The Malaysian middlemen never produced, despite repeated requests, any information on the due diligence that they had done regarding this supplier. I don't think they were crooked. I just think they didn't do it. And they were relying on the chain of connections to find the supplier through people that they trusted. In the end, what happened was they had to switch suppliers, and then once they switched suppliers, they promised to deliver the product to a warehouse in Chonburi, which is by the famous destination of Pattaya. Then that was canceled the day before delivery was supposed to happen, and they moved the warehouse to Nakhon Nayok, which is northwest of Bangkok, pretty far out there, a couple hours out, which I drove to that site and checked out the warehouse, which was completely unsecured. And although it could have housed gloves, it was not really appropriate in that state to secure gloves for a couple week possible period. So then they found a warehouse closer to the airport, Suvarnabhumi Airport in Bangkok, which again, another 2 or 3 delivery attempts were made where we had brought on the inspection service. I'm not sure whether it was SGS or TÜV Süd or Intertek or it was one of the ones, I'm not sure which. And so we had gone out there, spending money, of course, for their time and my time to get out there, and nothing came of it. The first delivery was canceled, second one was delayed, ultimately canceled, and then third, by that time, we had pulled the plug. So I don't know what happened after that. So first we have to look at the chain of who's. How long is your chain of who's? The longer your chain of who's is, the more risk you have. Lesson number 2. There's a tactic that the fraudsters use to make you believe that this deal is so fragile that if you ask any questions, you're going to kill the deal. This deal fragility or resistance to due diligence, I would say, is the number one. This fear that they strike in you that you'll lose a deal that may not even exist to begin with is a real problem. Some of that is real because there's so many buyers and not many sellers. And then lesson 3 is once things start to change and the narrative shifts, right? Once you sense the narrative shifting, it's time to pull the plug. I think we're about out of time for this video. I'll be happy to go further into any detail if anyone has any questions or comments. But please be careful out there. Like, share, subscribe if you can, and you're enjoying the content. Happy to produce more.